Sealaska Heritage Institute is a nonprofit founded at the urging of elders in 1980 to perpetuate and enhance Tlingit, Haida, and Tsimshian cultures. This video shows highlights of SHI's programming in 2018. In 2018, with major support from Sealaska, Sealaska Heritage sponsored its biennial celebration, a major festival celebrating the Tlingit, Haida, and Tsimshian cultures of Southeast Alaska. The four-day event included dance performances, and associated events, including juried art shows and competitions, native food contests, a native art market, a toddler regalia review, a parade through downtown Juneau, and a native fashion show. In all, celebration served more than 8,000 people, including 5,000 who attended and more than 3,000 who watched SHI's live web stream.
Tlingit basketry was such a beautiful art, and they really did so many different designs that I felt a real commitment to continue to teach it.
In 2018, Sealaska Heritage offered Northwest Coast art workshops across the state. Programs included a spruce root mentorship with students who are working to ensure this ancient but endangered art form is not lost.
These types of classes are just awesome because we know the urgency and we're not afraid to share secrets. That type of dedication is what's going to keep it, throw some threads into the recovery of this almost lost art form.
The entire process of how to harvest and weave spruce roots was videotaped and put online to ensure the knowledge of this ancient art practice is passed on. Other instruction included workshops on how to create form line designs, how to sew skins, and how to make horn spoons, also an endangered art practice. The entire process was videotaped and put online.
As you can see, the end of that hollow only comes up to here, so we have to do some more shaping and modification.
Sealaska Heritage also taught Northwest Coast art classes in correctional facilities to connect inmates with their culture and give them a means to make a living upon release. And SHI offered its Jannate Art Academy to youth in 4 communities across the region. SHI sponsored native art markets in 2018 and supported artists through its Sealaska Heritage store. Proceeds from the store help to fund cultural programs, including workshops to perpetuate endangered art forms. The Institute also promoted cross-cultural understanding by participating in Any Given Child, which exposes children to the arts. Many of the Institute's art programs are offered through a partnership with the University of Alaska Southeast and the Institute of American Indian Art in New Mexico. SHI's goal is to create a bachelor's degree program in Northwest Coast art. The Institute's ultimate goals are to make Juneau the Northwest Coast art capital of the world and to designate Northwest Coast art a national treasure. In all, SHI offered art programming to more than 4,400 people from 24 communities in Alaska, Canada, and the lower 48. In 2018, Sealaska Heritage, in partnership with Tlingit Haida and Central Council, expanded its award-winning early literacy program, Baby Raven Reads, to 9 additional communities in Southeast Alaska. SHI also released 3 new Baby Raven Reads books, including Raven and the Tide Lady, Raven Loses His Nose, and Raven Makes the Aleutians. SHI is giving the books to enrolled families and to libraries, schools, Head Starts, and child care facilities in Alaska. In 2018, the Institute also received the 2018 American Indian Youth Literature Best Picture Book Award from the American Indian Library Association for Salmon Boy, which was illustrated by Tlingit artist Michaela Goad. SHI also sponsored its annual Math and Culture Academy, where native art practices are used to teach math. The 2018 program serves students from 6 communities in the region. And for the second year, the Institute co-sponsored Native Youth Olympics, and 10 students qualified for the state games in Anchorage. A survey in 2018 found that 60% of athletes said the games encouraged them to stay in school, 70% said they improved or maintained good grades to continue participation in the games, and 80% said the program improved their leadership skills and self-esteem. SHI also held its annual hoop camp. The Institute continued its annual cultural orientations for teachers and school administrators because studies showed Native students do better academically when they are exposed to their culture in class. SHI also held its second annual Culturally Responsive Education Conference for educators from more than 30 communities.
I am going to...
In 2018, Sealaska Heritage, with support from Sealaska, sponsored its first ever language summit, bringing together nearly 70 fluent Tlingit, Haida, and Tsimshian speakers and more than 200 language learners. The goal was to celebrate the elders who continued to speak their languages in the face of intense opposition. The 3-day event was videotaped and is available on SHI's YouTube.
We still have our Tlingit language.
In all, SHI offered education programming to more than 6,900 people from 27 communities in Alaska, Canada, and the lower 48. SHI curates exhibits for the public to promote cross-cultural understanding. In 2018, SHI unveiled its exhibit, Our Grandparents' Names on the Land, which explores ancient place names and the innovative inventions that were used to catch halibut and salmon. The interactive exhibit shares knowledge about Southeast Alaska through Native perspectives and includes Native voices on the land, salmon people, and halibut attack the hook. Sealaska Heritage houses ethnographic objects that document the history, culture, and art of the Tlingit, Haida, and Tsimshian. In 2018, SHI received several significant donations, including an exquisite collection of Northwest Coast art objects, an old ceremonial fire bowl, and a model dugout canoe. Another exceptional piece acquired by SHI in 2018 was the last Chilkat robe made by the master weaver Jenny Flinot, one of the most celebrated Northwest Coast master weavers of the 20th century. SHI was able to purchase the robe because the sellers agreed to slash the price to ensure Northwest Coast people would have access to it for study. The Institute also offered its annual lecture series and produced Doing Battle with the Halibut People, the most comprehensive book ever published on traditional northern Northwest Coast halibut hooks. In all, SHI offered culture and history programming to more than 9,000 people. Executive staff monitors and advocates on public policy issues and funding at the federal, state, and city government levels. Staff advocates on matters related to art, culture, education, and funding. In 2018, SHI continued to advocate to designate Juneau as the Northwest Coast Arts Capital of the world. One of its initiatives that year was the creation of 3 exquisite bronze house posts, which are prominently displayed at the intersection by SHI's building. And at the urging of the Institute, the city of Juneau named the intersection Heritage Square. In 2018, SHI also continued to raise funds for its proposed Sealaska Heritage Arts Campus. The complex, located across the street from Sealaska Heritage, will be dedicated to the perpetuation of Alaska Native cultures and arts and the physical and virtual instruction of Native arts. The space, currently a parking lot, was donated to Sealaska Heritage for the Arts Campus by Sealaska. In 2018, SHI also advocated to establish the arts as an arts industry under state policy, require the state of Alaska to use Alaskan artists for its Percent for Art in Public Places program, amend federal and state legislation to include arts and crafts as eligible for VOC-Tech training programs, amend the Migratory Bird Treaty Act regulations to authorize sale of arts with migratory bird feathers, stop a national ban on all ivory sales, and oppose a Facebook ban of ivory, seal, and sea otter sales, assist with the Elizabeth Peratrovich coin and celebration, establish a tax credit for collectors who return sacred objects to tribes, protect subsistence harvests, protect cultural objects, and prohibit export of sacred objects, support the Higher Education Act reauthorization alternative teacher training certification to allow Native people in small communities to work remotely to earn teaching degrees, support the extension of the Alaska Education Tax Credit Program, protect federal funding for the Alaska Native Education Program, protect SHI's tax exemption status with the City and Borough of Juneau, increase federal funding for Native arts, education, and language programming, and support funding for the National Endowment for the Arts, the National Endowment for the Humanities, and the Institute of Museum and Library Services. In all, SHI served more than 29,000 people from 35 communities in Alaska, Canada, and the lower 48. This video shows highlights of programming in 2018 at Sealaska Heritage. For more information, request a copy of our 2018 booklet and see sealaskaheritage.org.